Welcome back, Nick Lenz, Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 827, Doubleshot number 721. I got one Marvel trade and one trade from DC Vertigo. Alright, first up is a trade I own. I bought this Molly's for $5. It is Savage Wolverine Volume 1, Kill Island. Collecting the first 5 issues of the series, written and drawn by Frank Cho. It's Wolverine teaming up with Amadeus Cho, Man-Thing, the Incredible Hulk, and Shauna the She-Devil, and they're in the Savage Land. Yeah, it's an island inside of the Savage Land, which is kind of weird. Yeah. Also, I love this cover and all the other covers they have presented here. Simply put, Wolverine is here to try to help S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, Shauna is basically being the guide to a S.H.I.E.L.D. unit that was taken up by a group of dinosaurs. Yep. Oh yeah, at one point in the storyline, they have where Shauna actually dies, and then brought back to this goo that's... Yeah, and by the way, Man-Thing, it's not the actual Man-Thing, it's an alien. Yep, despite the fact looking like the Man-Thing, and Amadeus Cho points out, though, he's with the Thunderbolts, and he's nowhere in the Savage Land. And plus, Man-Thing hangs out in Florida, doesn't hang out in the Savage Land. It seems like an odd thing for her to do. Also, the Hulk is there. Yeah, as for how in the world he got there, Frank Cho doesn't even bother to explain that. It's just the Hulk acting different than usual, where he's speaking very normally, instead of like not speaking at all. He kind of talks like that he is Bruce Banner controlling the Hulk. That's the way Frank Cho writes him. Where he says, I'm going to beat you up, stuff like that. Yeah. Now, if this was regular Hulk talking, he would talk in third person, like, Hulk is going to smash you, or Hulk smash, or Hulk's going to beat you up, or whatever. Yeah. So, he's basically talking normally, which has been unusual for him, because he doesn't usually do that. He does rarely. Yeah. And plus, Frank Cho, the way he draws this artwork, especially in here, it feels like you're in the middle of a jungle fantasy type story. Yeah, at least a jungle adventure. But this is actually a really good story. Amadeus Cho apparently has spent some time in the Savage Land. As for how much time, it's never explained. As for how he got there, that's never explained either. It's just characters who just have... Now, Shauna lives in the Savage Land, and she got there via S.H.I.E.L.D. At least she got an explanation of how she got there. As for how Wolverine got there, along with Amadeus Cho and the Hulk, Frank Cho doesn't give a damn about explaining like how he got there. It's like, oh, let's have Wolverine in the Savage Land. It's always fun. Also, there's no explanation of where the heck Kazar is. Despite the fact they're in the Savage Land, Kazar is referenced frequently in here, but he's never seen. Heck, even his pet Zabu. Also, one particular character who is never referenced in here, despite the fact he is very important to Kazar and Shauna, their son, Matthew. Yeah, their son is nowhere to be seen in here. He's not even mentioned. You just have the drop dead gorgeous Shauna pop up in here, drawing in weird poses, and also she's wearing like different clothing than usual. Yeah. Yeah, this is how she dresses now in this particular storyline. And it just seemed like the Frank Cho does a good job drawing her, except he draws a little bit too muscular in the legs. Makes her legs very muscular. But he still draws her like a very beautiful woman. And at least not like, I think it was in another Wolverine comic, Wolverine actually made out with her. This one, he doesn't do that. He treats her with a good amount of respect, and this is by far the only time I can think of Frank Cho's ever written, or I know, I'm sure he's probably drawn Wolverine before. I don't think he's ever written a character before, as far as I know. Yeah. But the thing with the series, it's kind of like a series of, it's basically kind of like Avenging Spider-Man, a series of rotating writers and artists, just give their spin on Wolverine, whatever they want to do. Sometimes it's a story, sometimes it's a standalone, sometimes it's him, Wolverine by himself. I'm going to give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. It's a good story, but Frank Cho has basically a lot of plot holes in here. Like, how did Wolverine, Amadeus Cho, and the Hulk get to Savage Land? Yeah. At least they explain why Wolverine is there. Yeah. He ended up on the island somehow. Hulk just randomly shows up out of nowhere. Heck, even Wolverine's like, what the heck are you doing here? He at one point stabs the Hulk in the head with one of his claws. Hulk also gets bitten in the head, and he's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's weird. But it is a good story. I love the story very much. Next up, it is Sandman, Volume 5, A Game of You. This book collects issues. Let's see, I think it's like 31. It's 32, 37. Yeah, the thing with the storyline, this particular set of issues, these issues are kind of gross. Yes. You want to know what stuff happens in here? There's a guy who eats a bird. Whole. Also, the same guy apparently can take a box cutter, while also unbuttoning his shirt and cutting up his chest real like his rib cage, like a bird cage, which I thought that was gross. And another person who gets killed is apparently gets his face removed, nailed to a wall, and also have his tongue removed. Yeah, it's kind of disgusting. I mean, did Tony Daniel take the idea of getting Joker's face removed from this? He might have, because it's a very similar circumstance. The only difference is it was the doll maker who did it in that storyline. Here, it's some random woman who shows up in this one storyline. Yeah, this is a particularly very odd storyline. It involves dreams, like obviously. Morpheus barely plays a role in this story. And it's by far the weakest arc of the entire series. It's just a group of women. A couple of them might be lesbians. And Lady Death shows up in here, and she's probably the most interesting character. She shows up maybe twice. First time she shows up as a character named Judy, which I thought that was weird. And one character says she's pregnant, and apparently she did it with a guy who was gay, and it was a one-night stand. And the girl who she's telling it to, apparently she has a pregnant, but she had an abortion in high school. Yeah, it's not a very good story. The artwork is actually really, I love the artwork, but it's Vertigo style artwork where it's not exactly weird. It's going to be good and gross at the same time. The artwork in here is done by several different artists: Sean Manthis, Colleen Doran, Brian Talbot, George Pratt, Stan Watch, and the legendary Dick Giordano. And of course we have Neil Gaiman obviously on the writing, as you can see by the cover. Because the fact this is by far the weakest story arc in the whole series, as a matter of fact, Morpheus doesn't play a role in this particular arc at all. He is summoned completely at random. He's summoned by, I think it's one person, there's a different person summoning him. Yeah, it's really weird, and he doesn't really do anything this whole arc. I mean, I get the fact, it's an anthology series. Fine, whatever. At least have him play a role in the stories. This one feels very random, and kind of a forgettable story when it comes to this particular one. But though the series does get better after this. Though it doesn't last for much longer after this because, well, as I've said previously, this volume lasted for 75 issues, and this one went to 37. So there's about 38 issues left. Yep. Managed to last for about 3 more years after, a little over 3 years after this before it finally concluded. I do have the last 2 trades that collect this particular series, but I don't have the first one. I don't have Dream Hunters, which was a miniseries that came after this, and I don't have Sandman Overture. I'm probably going to order those in the future. I'm going to give this book roughly an 8 out of 10 because it's somewhat a forgettable story, but I do high praise for the artwork, despite the fact at times how gross it could be, and there is a bunch of nudity in here. Tons of it. Is there swearing? No, surprisingly there isn't. There's even not much. There's a little bit of violence, very gross violence, mind you. But that's the point where you have to vomit. Thank God the artwork doesn't do that. But it's just okay. But it's a complete forgettable story, and it's kind of bad. All right, so that's it for this particular review. It's something that I'll give a Sandman trade something below a 9. Yeah, it's kind of weird for me to do that, but this story was somewhat forgettable, and the characters were so one-dimensional. It's like Neil Gaiman just didn't care, and the artwork at least tries to make the story look good. It's just that the story is about a woman who is apparently a princess, cops acting like idiots by saying, nothing to see here. I mean, it's like Neil Gaiman really wanted these people to be government agents, but instead of having random street cops for no reason at all tell them to move along because there's monsters on the street. And there's one monster who talks to one of the characters first to his princess, and the cops are like, go away, bimbo. Seriously? Why the heck would Neil Gaiman even write that? It's so stupid. But the series does get better after this, but if I would point, if it was a very weak arc of the whole series, it'd be this one. So that's it for this review. Stay tuned for a chance to do more reviews. I have like 2 more reviews, hopefully, Panford say. One is review of newest chapter for 7 Daily Sins manga, and hopefully get a chance to Raid Master. Next 14 episodes of the series, okay? But to see you in the next episode. Bye.